So did all of you guys have a good weekend or a productive weekend? Anybody do something that was just profoundly terrible? Super boring. I got to mow the yard when we got back from the trip. That was wonderful. I love doing that. And for those of you new to the country, that is called sarcasm. Yeah, tennis. What did you do?
I mean, it wasn't, you said something like terrible or whatever. It wasn't like terribly boring or horrible or anything like that, but I had to go in and do an emergency filling at the dentist on Labor Day evening because I chipped a filling flossing the night
Oh,
before.
that can be startlingly uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I couldn't do much at the barbecue that night because the way barbecues work in my family is we do, hamburgers, hot dogs, whatever, and I could do that. I just ate it on the one side just to be safe, but then we do ice cream and a movie,
Oh
and I just
no.
couldn't eat it.
Oh, oh, it's horrible. Yeah, that can be a rude awakening. Um, as like Hawaiian shave ice, when you have an exposed filling, it is remarkable how many nerve endings come together. It's that singular moment. But yeah, so I guess it's kind of comforting that it could have been worse. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was expecting to have to do the filling the next morning and then miss my Tuesday class, but he got me in at 9:10 p.m. and it was done at 9:30. So
Wow, that is. Yeah, your dentist needs a special T-shirt or something for that special award.
yeah, he's great.
Well, I have not looked at any of the houses that people have turned in. So I wanted to do that with you guys right now. I'm sorry, I am on the spectrum. So when I do rapid transitions, it's not because you missed anything. It's just because I am not really good with social cues all the time. So let me circle back. Tanis, thank you. And we will now go into the class. So my kids tell me I have a brain like a pachinko machine because stuff is always rattling. So if you think I'm being rude, it is not intentional. I promise you. Well, most of the time, we'll say that. Okay. Now, is there any before I launch into that? Is there anything else you guys want me to talk on today? I do need to redo some of the due dates, like for this next project. I want that to be 2 weeks out because I don't want you guys. I like doing the quiz before you really get to the project that the quiz is related to, because then your brain's in the right space. And so the next quiz should be due this weekend, and then next weekend is when the wire thing should be due, and we'll talk about that. And with the projects themselves, I am always more flexible on due dates for the projects. The other stuff, as long as you tell me what's going on, I have absolutely no problem extending the due date for people. Does that sound good? Does anybody else want to do anything else? Or you guys have other questions?
No, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. Man, tennis, part of me doesn't want wishes that you hadn't told that story because a big part of my nightmares are exposed fillings. So that's
Oh
just,
no.
oh, that's
Well,
horrible.
at least it was, if it makes you feel better, it wasn't the whole thing. I just kind of chipped it in half. Uh, Nothing was really exposed. It was just sensitive to cold is all. So if that
Okay,
helps
well,
you feel better about it.
yeah, it does. That does make me feel better. All right, so this is the first one, and this assignment we also needed to for the full assignment. You also needed to respond to three other people's stuff, and this is always due like 2 days after the assignment is due. And the reason, or at least a day after, or it should be always. And the reason is because, ideally, before you make the comments, everybody else has to post stuff too. So, what I want to do is look at these the 5 pictures that each person has done. We're going to talk a little bit about the house, and then we'll mention the comments too, but not very much. So we do have about 15 people who've turned stuff in, and I'm going to try to get through this. So we'll try to spend just a couple minutes on each one, and you can see where people are going. I haven't graded this yet because if after we talk today, you feel you need to change it, go ahead and change it and resubmit it. Okay, so if we look at this, one thing right away that I notice is I love the fact that this is not the stereotypical house. The 3 links I sent you guys to were all like gingerbread style houses, which is great as a base that everybody has really done a lot of fun things to over the years. And I love the fact that this is a trailer. This is like some of the stuff we saw while we were driving over the weekend. So I really like this. Some of the details that I like are the popsicle sticks for the roof, these kind of awnings uh, instead of just regular windows cut out, like this kind of detail and the siding detail. And if you can see on some of them, you can see inside a little bit too, which is so much fun. Like right here, the light is coming in onto the floor. So first off, I like the way that this individual did the house. So we have a close up, kind of a far away one here. And this is a fun one with really interesting filter. And then we have just some unusual lighting ones. So I looks to me like they did all 5 that we had asked for, and included a cat, which is a bonus. And then 3 responses that this person was able to give because other people turned stuff in. So I think that's great. So just at that quick little look, what do you guys think about A, the house, and B, the different views? And there's 5 of you here today. I'd like to hear from everybody, but not on each of these things that we see. So maybe one person can talk about a house, and the house, another person can talk about the different views we've got, and we'll just do 2 different people for the next one and just keep switching around like that. So who wants to talk about this house?
I'll go first. I actually commented on this house because when I saw it, I was not expecting a house like this, and so I thought it was so cool that it was unique, and I loved the colors of it. I thought it uh, represented very well what a house like that would actually look like, and yeah, I thought it was so cute and unique and a really good idea.
All right, excellent, very good. Yeah, and those are some of the same traits that I see right away. So excellent. So who wants to comment about the 5 different photos?
You can go.
Okay.
I thought she did a really good job of doing the different angles. Like when you say the 5 different photos, do you mean like what? So, because you wanted us to say specific things, like I just have a lot of notes because I think it's so cool. But I just really love that she covered a wide range of angles. There's like I think she did a really good job just hitting every bullet point, and I especially really loved the last picture where you can see the floorboards. Because I don't think I
Yeah.
saw that in anyone else's. That was really different that she incorporated inside the house as well.
Yeah, these are the 5 photos that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, close up, distance view, unusual setting, unexpected lighting, and super creative view, lighting, or filter. And that's what I'm talking about. And I can see her doing that. And I think you're right. Seeing the floorboards is something that I was not expecting. And I'm trying to get back to, there we go. So that's what you were referring to, right? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and so when I say 5 photos, you're required to do 5 photos, and then, that was the list that we come up with last week, and I think that this person did it. You mentioned something about that you really liked some of the unusual views, and I thought that, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, like that purple light filter was really neat. I loved that. And just everything. Like the soft light also in that last picture there is really nice as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. All right, let's look at the next one. Okay, so we have distance, close, and kind of an interesting. This is a black and white filter. On this, I think that the house, I like that the house design and the unusual colors. The construction of it concerns me just a little bit. On the close up, it's distracting. The others, it's not so noticeable. This isn't too bad. It's this one, the particular, it looks like hot glue is dripping everywhere. And I think, if this is something that is an issue with the material you have to work with is hot glue and is just not behaving, what I would recommend is doing something to make this look like an intentional texture, where instead of just leaving it drips like this and strings, pull off some of the strings and then use the hot glue to make a texture almost like icing or something. But I think that overall, I love this idea of the Halloween direction, uh, the Halloween decoration attacking it, and I like the interior lighting, and I like the black and white filter. I think that that is really interesting. So, what do you guys have to think about this? And um, we can let's see, Tanis and Jassiel. How about let's have you two guys uh, comment?
Yeah, for sure. I
W-
can go.
Okay.
This house really reminds me of like a Scooby. I really love the colors of it, especially in the lighting of it.
Are you
Um,
saying Scooby Doo house?
yeah, kind of like a
Okay.
Scooby. Yeah.
Yeah,
um.
the microphone coming through is a little bit garbled, and
Oh, I'm
but
so sorry.
it sounds like the volume is really 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 low.
Oh. Um.
If it's something you can't change, that's fine. Because
Yeah.
we still you said, but
I'll
I
make
want to
sure.
make sure. What's that?
Yeah, I'll make sure to.
Oh, that sounds better.
Okay. I'm just. I think I'm just a little far away from my laptop.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it does remind me of like a Scooby Doo house, like something out of like a cartoon. Um. And I really like how there's like different shapes on the house. Like um like the I think those are like windows on the roof or something. Yeah, like that's not something I would expect on a roof. And like I also like how there's um yeah, and just like kind of the silhouette of everything. But yeah, I would agree that maybe like next time like use like another glue. I know there's like I don't know, like a Elmer's glue or like a rubber cement, something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I think this is really this kind of feature is really interesting. Definitely, I agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
I
it's really cute. Yeah.
I like what you said, Scooby Doo house. That's good. How about you, Tanis? What do you think about the photos?
Like you said before, I think the house and the photos look much nicer when it's not the close up. Because it is easier to see all the little imperfections in the closer the photos are. Like especially right there with all the tape and glue on the edge. But I do like the color combination. I like pastel colors, so I like the pinkish side on the blue. I guess walls. I wouldn't say interior because it's not like a hollow house, but I think it's a nice combination of colors, and it does help it pop out against the dirt there or against the steps of the uh, front porch there.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. The colors, something like this, I think is really interesting because it shows that the person took thought of what would be interesting to look at color wise. And I agree with you. Nice. Okay, I really like this picture right here. And I'm thinking it would even look better if it was cropped like right across the shelf right here. Because that book right next to this house is just that's just right. That excellent.
I just wanted to say that that picture makes it feel like the house is a character in a book or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's an actual character, you know?
And I think that the style of the house lends itself to being among books like this. You know, the way that they designed it. I agree with you. It makes it look like a character. I like this too because it shows a relationship between these two, same kind of color theme, and that is always fun to see. From my perspective, I really like the kind of detail that they put on this house. I think this turned out really well. I The color scheme is consistent. It is consistently built. It looks like it's going to withstand, carrying it around, but it is just an interesting house. Like you said, it looks like a character, its own character. This I think is really very neat. Again, catching the sun glint right there, and the use of the filter is subtle, but it makes me it. We have the purple again, but I think that's kind of a fun thing to do, and I think this is a really good view with that bigger house behind it. All right, we'll open it up. Let's have two of you, somebody talk about the house and somebody talk about the photos.
I can talk about the house.
Okay.
I've told Rachel how much I love the shingles on that house. I think they are so cool looking. I think she said it was like from a wicker basket, which I thought was like genius. I also really love the copper. It looks like a copper, like a rain gutter pipe coming down the side of the house.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
It's like really subtle. I think that is a really cool touch. Um, yeah, that photo, how it looks like it's a miniature of the house behind it is really cool. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just really like this. I really like this house a lot.
It turned out really well.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Thank you. Who wants to talk about the 5 photos?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
All right, go for it.
Yeah, this house just feels like very classic, like a old country home. So I really like the photo where it kind of looks like a film, with the filter. I
Oh,
thought that was like a really really nice touch. Um,
Are you talking about this
Also,
one?
yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but you're right. It does look like one of those, when people used an older camera and the
yeah,
film didn't process quite right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really, yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
see
I
that.
thought that was a great touch. Um, and yeah, I also really like the shot with the house. It just feels like it belongs there. Like it's almost like a part of the house. Like like a little how like architects do like small miniature houses for
Right.
their client. It looks amazing with the house. Um and I don't know. I honestly just really those two really caught my eye.
All right, excellent.
I know that was my own house. I just wanted to tell you guys something really fast. When I was out taking pictures of that house, um,
This one?
I yeah, I was down by railroad tracks near my house, and I ran into a couple who that's actually their job. I just thought it was so bizarre. They build miniature homes and buildings for like commercial businesses. I just thought it was so bizarre, like what the odds were that I would
That is so
run into
weird.
someone.
That is really funny because Jason Lanigan, he builds uh, miniature houses and structures as part of his work, sculptural work, and it's funny because he would be the perfect person to do stuff like that, but he doesn't. It's interesting you would meet somebody so out of our frame of reference that does that. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was I mean, it was kind of cool, but yeah, I was like, that's so weird, like the timing, you know?
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, here's the next one. Nice action shot with the lizard. Okay, I can see like this is like a close up, and I wonder which of these is going to be the far away view. This one seems to have kind of like one of those beauty filters on it. The house itself reminds me very much of Lincoln Logs. I don't know if you guys know what those are. The company probably died before most of you were even born, but uh, you could build really cool log houses with the Lincoln Logs, and this reminds me an awful lot of that. It doesn't feel like there's an awful lot of texture to it, but it does feel like the house is built very sturdy. After like a log cabin kind of thing. And there's a part of me that does like the clean lines. And I really I think this photo is very interesting. I like this one just because it has a lizard in it. And this one I feel is a lot of fun. All right, who wants to talk about the house and who wants to talk about the photos?
I'll talk about this house.
Okay.
I liked this house because it seems kind of simple, but it's so cleanly done. It just looks like nice, clean, fold, like very symmetrical. And I also liked like it had a color scheme with like the greens and the tans throughout all the pictures, like so the surrounding stuff also was just kind of nice. And yeah, I just thought it was it was done nicely, the craftsmanship.
Yeah, the craftsmanship is very consistent. All right, good. Who wants to talk about the 5 photos?
I can talk about the photos.
Okay.
Um, I thought so the very last one, the lighting, I thought was a really nice, like unexpected lighting, I think is what that one is.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it's the filter. I don't know, but I think it's the unexpected lighting. But I thought that was really nice, like hazy and in the grass with the sunset in the background. Excuse me. Um,
Yes.
the distance view, I think, is the one with, I think that's a skull. I'm not really, is that a skull? Down
Yeah.
that
Right
one.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
does look
hard to,
like one. Yeah,
yeah.
it looks like this is the horn,
Yeah, like
eye
I thought
socket,
that was
teeth.
really interesting. Like
Yeah.
even with just the flow of the horn, it
Uh-huh.
kind of encircling the house. I thought that was really interesting. Um, and the other ones are also just really fun, like different scenes that you would see a house like that. I absolutely love that lizard. I want that lizard. Um, but yeah, I think that they did a great job. I can see a close up, I can see a creative view, I can see a distant view and an um unexpected lighting and an unexpected setting. I think they did a
Okay.
good job.
All right, great. Excellent. Yeah, this the more I look at it, the more I'm convinced that this is kind of like a rustic type chair or something. But this is really unusual to me. The setting, it's inside of a house, but I don't have any real familiar. I don't have any points of reference. That's really fascinating. Yes, thank you very much. Great observations. Okay, this one is really fun. I think that the house design, I love the fact that they took the time to do these kind of hand drawn windows. That's really fun. I'm working on a project right now, doing some historical reproduction windows for somebody. So this is just really fun. It is not a difficult design for a house. Doesn't have an awful lot of texture, but it has some of these details and these kind of uh, elements to it really make it kind of fun, I think. And when I saw this, it was a little bit difficult. It was a little bit of a challenge because I didn't see the house right away. I was wondering which of these structures is the house. Did they make two? But I realized that's the house right there. I love the unusual setting. Very nice, very well done. This I thought was very cool. It looks super dramatic. And if Jessica bought their flooring from Costco, I think we have the same flooring. And this, the creative view lighting or filter, this looks really interesting. It looks like they took several of these glasses and then just putting something translucent in them, or did something like that. But this is really kind of a fun view. All right, who wants to talk about the house for a sec, and then who wants to talk about the 5 photos?
I'll talk about the house.
Okay.
So right away, I don't think I commented on this one, but it was one of the ones that caught my eye immediately. It reminded me of has anyone read those Madeline books about the girls that live in the boarding school or
Yeah.
whatnot? This
Yes.
reminds me of those books with just the crazy height of the house and how crazy how ornate the windows are. It just reminded me of those books, and I really liked those books growing up.
Yeah. The person who did the illustration for those is one of my favorite illustrators, and I can't. And of course, right when you said Madeline, I knew who it was, but I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, it's just the really tall houses that have just a hint of humor to them and are engaging and fun to see. Yeah, I see that. I see that. Great
Google
observation.
says the illustrator is Ludwig Bemelman.
Bemelman, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that very fun. I liked the books until I got old enough to realize, well, wait a sec, how come Madeline isn't getting any older? Just things kids come up with. Excellent observations. Those are great. Who wants to talk about the photos?
I guess I could talk about the photos.
Okay.
Um, so what this house reminds me or gives me a feeling of is like a haunting feeling because um of the stained glass windows. There's a show that I used to watch and it just took place in a haunted house and it had the stained glass windows. So that's why it reminds me of it. So I really like the picture with the houses because it
Oh,
just gives
this
like
one?
a yeah, because it's like a huge juxtaposition to like these childish like things next to this little haunting house. I thought I thought it was really interesting. And I also really like the lighting of the uh but yeah, the unexpected lighting one, just that shadow, that like haunting shadow. I thought that
Yeah.
was really cool. Um yeah, and the which one was it? Yes, this one. This photo, I also really like the touch of the glass because the light is like almost going through the glass, kind of like how a
Right.
stained glass window would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting. Yeah, and I like how it's like kind of positioned between them. Really nice.
Yeah, it's sitting on top of one of the glasses. That's a really interesting effect. Yeah. All right. Excellent observations. What I'm noticing, what I'm really appreciating from everybody is that none of you are saying, "Oh yeah, it's cool," and leaving it like that. You are being very specific as you communicate the elements that you're talking about, and that is really. I don't think you guys give yourself enough credit for. You should be recognizing that that is very um, very important. It's a very important skill that an artist should have that most artists don't. And you guys are really good at being specific about with your articulation. So that is really good to hear. Okay, I will tell you, I really like this quite a bit. I think this looks to me like almost like a post-apocalyptic um, like modern brutalist kind of tenement almost. And I just this image right here, I really love how they painted so much texture onto this. That just that really looks very interesting to me. And then each of the different photos, like this one, the far away, I like how it's just kind of sitting there, but it's sitting in a place, even though it's such a small scale, this place does look kind of like that brutal urban used landscape kind of thing, just enough that it feels like it belongs there. This is like, I don't know if you guys ever read any of the Borrowers books, but if the Borrowers were fans of Mad Max, this is the kind of thing that kind of fits. And I like the unusual setting type of thing, this close up, particularly this one, getting right up there. I I think this turned out really well. And this is kind of a fun setting. Because again, like that other one with these books and stuff, it almost feels like it's a character too. So what do you guys think about this? Somebody talk about the house and then talk about the photos.
I'll talk about this house. I loved this house when I saw it. A lot of what you said were my initial thoughts too. I loved the texture. I I'm thinking it's supposed to be like cement around the outside of it, and I stared at it for so long. I'm like, how did they get that texture? And then I loved how along the front of the building it looked like rusty, like corrugated metal,
Uh-huh.
and I just thought it was so interesting. Again, something that I didn't expect, like something you'd see in a city, like a I don't know. It was unexpected. I looked at it through the photos multiple times. I loved like the little bits of like the turquoise. Like I thought that color popped, and then their little open window. Like I didn't even know it was open, until I scrolled down. I'm like, did they remove a piece or was it just never there?
Well, it looks to me like it's one that they could open and close.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was so
That's
interesting. And then
fun.
the underneath, I wasn't sure if that was like a parking garage or like I don't know. I just thought it was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
interesting to look at the textures and um I just thought it was very well done and unique again, stood out to me. And I liked all the different places that they set their house, even on that like was it like an electric meter with like the chain and stuff. I don't know, I thought that was really cool too.
yeah. They're very conscious of where they're putting it because the colors of the house itself are resonating with the colors of the landscape around it. And that is really fun to see. Like you have the red chain, you have this little touch of turquoise, this little bit of blue and stuff, and kind of bouncing off of that. I, you know, that is really fun to see as well. All right, who wants to talk about the photos?
I really like these photos. I'm gonna comment on them. I actually commented on these photos because um this building or structure kind of feels abandoned,
Uh-huh.
and they place these structure in places where like people like kind of forget about. Like this is like feels like it's like next to a trash can. Like people don't really think about these
Right.
places. And it's very like interesting. Like this gutter. Like no one really thinks about that. Um
Right.
and yeah, and just like also like how they have like a light just like peeking out through one window in the last photo.
Yeah. Right
Yeah,
here.
it's just like yeah, it feels like I don't know, it just feels like so mysterious, like what's in there, you know? Really interesting.
Yeah, like the whole place is abandoned, but one guy lives there.
Yeah. Like what is he doing in there? Like you want to know.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
All right. Excellent. Very good. This house is very graphically designed. It feels like it's modeled after European style homes, which I think is really interesting. It's very clean lines, very cleanly done. It's after that, it makes me want to. Think it would be interesting to have a little bit more texture on it, but it's also interesting that with it being as clean as it is, some of the settings that are more organic, like right here, it makes for a very interesting visual juxtaposition. And this is kind of a fun shot too, because it looks to me like these two buildings are very related. It looks to me like that's the close up, that's the far away, maybe. Interesting settings. This is really interesting to me because the lighting is right from here. We've got a strong shadow right here, and then the light just kind of disappears in the background. I think this one is fascinating to me. So, what do you guys think? Somebody talk about the house, and then talk about the photos.
We can talk about the house.
Okay.
Um, I really liked the roof. I thought that was really interesting and different to have the black with the white stripes. And that made it, that just added a whole other level of interest. And with it matching the trim of the windows and the door and things like that, I just feel like everything was incorporated really well. It all really fits well together and it looks clean. I think that they did a good job.
All right, excellent. Who wants to speak about the photos?
I'll talk about the photos.
Okay, great.
Okay, and I did want to say this house reminds me of like a Minecraft character. I don't know if you guys,
Yeah,
my
yeah, the
kids play
eyes and
Minecraft a lot.
here's
Yeah, it
the
almost
mouth
looks like
kind of
a
thing.
face,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It totally reminds me of like a creeper on Minecraft. Um, but yeah, I like that one right there where it's sitting in the rocks. Like I almost get like cabin vibes from it just a little bit, with the tree behind it, like it's out in the forest kind of, and you can really see the scale in that one. And then we scroll down. I liked the lighting one where it's in the dark. That was not something I thought about doing with my photos, taking one like late in the night, and I really liked the sharp shadow and the angle of the house. Like there's like lots of lines, like
Right.
directional lines in this photo. And so I thought that one was interesting to look at, and you still get like a nice close up of the house as well. And then I did like the one in the pantry. I saw there was like one in the examples that you had posted for this module, and I think that it just looks cool amongst cereal boxes. Like it definitely, like it's definitely an odd place, but something about it is interesting. Also, like again, lots of squares, and it
Well,
just kind of is cute in there.
well, and out of everything, this one makes me think of Minecraft the most.
Yes,
The pantry photo.
yes, Minecraft for sure, which I love. So I thought this house was really cool.
All right, excellent, very good.
Real quick before we move on, I do want to say I'm very happy about the very first thing you said when you pulled it up, that you said it looks very graphically designed because what I did for the house was I timed myself to do a 1 minute sketch and then I just made the house off of that sketch.
Right, that it's kind of fun. A lot of the times when you have projects in school that are just mind numbing, it's good to do stuff like that because it forces you to engage yourself and it gives just a little bit of energy to what the assignment is. So I'm glad you did that. Yeah, this one I don't really see a close up. I don't see a close up at all in these photos. We do have 5 very different images though. I kind of like this one gives me a good idea of what the house looks like. And maybe that is the close up one. It also has unusual lighting, which this has unusual lighting too. This person maybe combined things. But some of the things that I like about this house is like the detail along the roof. That's kind of fun. And these white lines, that makes it kind of fun. The fact that it has double doors. And I like how like this feels like it's a setup. It's a um, like a diorama almost. But I don't really mind because look, remember I told you what I don't like is somebody sets something up like this and then you take 5 photos just while you're walking around. This person definitely did not do that, and it's kind of fun to see a little setting like this, and especially when everything else is so different. And I like this where it's just on the floorboards. And then somebody else did one in the swing. That's pretty cool. I like this just balanced precariously on top of a yard light. So each of these are in a very different setting, which I like. And I do think that like this might be the distance one, and this is the close up. I think unusual setting. We have fascinating lighting. So yeah, I do think this does cover all five of them. All right, who wants to talk about the house?
I can talk about the house again.
Okay.
I agree about the roof. I think the roof is really cool. I keep trying to see it a little bit better to like figure out what it is because it's got the lines that go, horizontally and then they go vertical as well. And I don't know, like I'm sure this isn't what it is, but it kind of reminds me of um like the spine of a book.
Uh-huh.
Like the old spines of a book, how they're like bumpy.
Right.
But I like how simple the design is. Like it feels very clean. It has like really nice trim. I like the neutral colors. They go well together. I think it's well done. I like that the doors open up as well.
Yeah. Like here they're completely closed, these two, and then you have this is more open and this is a little bit open. Yeah. All right, excellent. Who wants to talk about the five photos?
I can. Um,
Okay.
yeah. This house kind of feels like a shed. So um I like how they kind of placed it in like kind of like backyard settings. Um and also how like the lighting is something like um in the lighting photo it kind of looks like how you would see a shed at night. So I thought that was really
Oh,
interesting.
right here.
Yeah. um so yeah, I thought the swing was really playful. It like gives a different perspective on the structure and also on this like I think it's like a light pole.
Right here.
Very yeah, very interesting perspective.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I thought these pictures were really interesting. Yeah.
That's the light pole. Let's see. Let me see if I can. There's an artist whose work I just absolutely love, and he did something similar. If I can find it. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. So this is actually a life-size house that he built on a building. And if you're brave enough, you can actually go into it. But it was designed to look like it's precariously balanced. And so this is what that one made me think of, the light pole. All right, great. Let's see. Go to the next one here. Okay, I'm a fan of Studio Ghibli, and I love Howl's Moving Castle, and that's the first thing this one made me think of. If Dr. Seuss and Howl's Moving Castle had a baby, I think this would it be it. That's I enjoy the fact that all the surfaces are painted to get the color. I like the fact that the windows are translucent and you can see through them. The light comes through them a little bit differently than everything else. that's really fun to see. So I really appreciate that they did labeled each of these two: close up, creative, distance view, lighting, and it looks like this person made an infinity screen with a sheet. So thank you very much.
I just want to
Uh,
say that I really love this one too. Like I looked at this like for so long, but that picture right there reminds me of Thomas the Train, where they have
yeah.
Ringo Starr. You know, Ringo Starr's like the host or whatever, and they have all the little people. Like the grass in that reminds me exactly of that show.
Right,
That's all I wanted to say.
excellent. Very good. Who wants to talk about the photos?
I want to talk about this house on the photos. And I did want to say that I thought this house was so interesting. Like it almost looks like it was like molded from clay or like some type of painted ceramic or something. Like I don't know. I thought the textures of it were so cool. And I love the photo of the one with it in front of the clock. The colors are just perfect together. It and it pulls out the clock that's on the front of the house, like with the blurry clock in the background.
Right.
Um, and the one down on the grass, yeah, that one. It almost looks like it's meant to be there, like it's like little people live in that house on that little patch of grass because like the grass is kind of short. A lot of the other pictures that people have taken, like there's long grass or big flowers like in mine, and I just think it looks like it's just perfectly suited to the grass around it. And then the lighting one, yeah, that one, it like the whole house glows, and you just want to go in. It looks like warm and inviting. Like you want to go in there and have a cup of hot chocolate. So I thought this house was so cool, and all the pictures were well done. And she got like all the angles. You get to see the front of the house, the left side of the house, the right side of the house. So I thought she did a great job with the angles of her home too.
Yeah, excellent. And I think it's fun to see a house like this too, that feels like you were saying it. It feels ceramic, and I wonder if part of that is because there is this element, this organic element to it, because of the way it's painted and everything and put together, and that makes it a lot of fun, I think. Yeah, excellent, very good. I think this one is a really fun idea. You know, seeing this picture first, I wish that it wasn't the first picture because it really doesn't look like much. I think that this picture should have been the first picture because it's because then you can see right away, okay, this is what's going on. And one thing that I really appreciate about this is that they used everyday items to create a lighthouse, and that's kind of fun. It does seem like there's a lot of thought into using materials, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of uh, didn't take a long time to build. But I think with putting the light on the inside and everything like that, photos like this, I think kind of validate it. This photo and this photo, I think, are the two best ones. So what do you guys think about this?
Um,
Somebody talk about the lighthouse.
yeah, I could talk about the lighthouse. I thought this house was actually constructed really well. Like the silhouette of the structure, just like if you were just to see it, it looks like a lighthouse. So I thought that was executed really well. I love the light, how it like shines through in like this dark area. Like it
Mhm.
really, it's like the purpose of this house, Um, yeah, and also like the classic like red and white stripes. It like reminds me of like a classic lighthouse that you would see in like the Bay Area, maybe like in Maine. Um,
Right.
yeah, it just feels like, yeah, it feels like classic. That's great.
All right. Excellent. Who would like to talk about the photos?
I could talk about the photos.
All right.
Um, I guess so. One that stood out to me, I think it's down towards the bottom. It's sitting on top of like a blue chair. I thought this one was cool because, again, it shows the scale of it, how small it is, but also with it sitting on the blue chair, it's almost like it's sitting out in the ocean, kind of, but not at all. And so that one kind of stood out to me. And then the one in the dark with the light on, I thought that was really cool, them having the light, and it almost looks like the background is like waves maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I like how it's like shining off the background and the way like the light streak kind of goes through it. I thought that was pretty cool. And then yeah, that one I was wondering like what it's sitting on when when I first saw this. Uh I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's confusing to me too. It almost looks like the inside of a gas tank or something.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Something, is it like plastic or I don't know. That one I would say is probably not my favorite photo. I feel like it's a little washed out too, but um overall I think they did a good job with the pictures and putting it in
Well,
different
this
places.
the filter is foggy day, and so
Oh.
yeah, so if
Oh.
it looks washed out, it's supposed to be.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So that makes sense now. One thing that I appreciate too is that it looks to me like a lot of the backgrounds may relate to what's going on inside or around if this was an actual lighthouse. Like you said, this background kind of reminds you of water. And the color kind of reminds you of water, but on a different perspective, this looks like a chair that I've seen inside of these historical lighthouses. And I think that's really kind of interesting. But yeah, excellent. Let's go to the next one. This I really like this house too. I really enjoy this, and a couple reasons why I like that is, yeah, it does have a very simple design to it, but the way that they folded up paper and accordion pleat for these windows, the way that they put the siding on and painted the siding, the way that they've done the roof with cardboard so it looks like the corrugated tin, that it just looks really really fun. And it's like this one, I this is a fun close-up view, and then this is a fun distance view where the color really really pops out. And I like this having the something with a grid, a woven grid casting shadows on it is really interesting. This I think is just really funny. It seems very funny to me. And this the rainbow, like we saw that other one, that somebody said looked like really old camera footage or something. That's what this kind of reminds me of too. All right, so who wants to talk about the house? Can you guys hear my dog crying in the background?
No, I could talk about this house too.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I loved this house. I thought the color was really cool. It's kind of like a pastel. It even just the paint like gives it a texture. I loved the accordion blinds. I thought that was such a good idea. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that is awesome. I loved the roof as well. It adds a lot of texture to it, and um, I liked that she had like window frames around it, and it just kind of gave the house more depth. And I thought it was very well done and interesting to look at.
All right, excellent. Very good. Who wants to talk about the photos?
I could talk about the photos.
Okay.
Uh, I really like um actually this one right here is really interesting. The fire hydrant one.
Uh-huh.
I thought the colors against the house, I thought it like really brought out the house. Just because it's just so different from each other. Um, I also really like the lighting photo, the unusual lighting one. Um, oh, the unexpected lighting one. Um, yeah, because it just kind of gives like a kind of it kind of brings the shadow kind of brings your attention to the house. Like it kind of emphasizes the house almost,
Yeah.
and I really like that. And I believe it was the unusual setting with the so many lights with the colored lights.
Oh, the colored lights.
Yes, the creative lighting. I also really like this one. I believe it like I think it really gave this like house a character. Like it like you would see it in like a like kind of like an alien storyline where like with the purple lights and everything. I thought that was really cool. Um and and yeah, and I just think the first two photos, yeah, I think it really just gives you a good view of the home. This one, the close up, gives you a lot of details, and this one right here with the environment and everything, it feels like like, like it like it kind of feels like a home with all the flowers around it and everything. Feels like someone could live in there.
All right, excellent. Great. Terrific. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys' comments and observations. You guys are doing a great job. Okay, here's the next one. This this is really an interesting one for me because it makes me think of one of my favorite painters, Paul Klee. And I'm going to pull up an image of some of his work really quick. And you can see, this is the kind of thing that house made me think of. He was a painter around 1920, 1930, and almost all of his paintings he did as um, samples in class, which I think is really fun. But he worked quite a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I just that is so irritating. I accidentally. Oh no, you guys are still seeing stuff. Okay, I accidentally closed one of the um, windows I had open, and I thought I'd lost everybody. But let me get back to this house really quick here. But can you guys see that correlation between the Paul Klee geometry paintings and this kind of house? It is a simple design, it kind of reminds me a little bit about the Bauhaus, where Paul Klee taught, and it's kind of fun to see something like this. The design itself is a really, really simple, and it doesn't have the level of craftsmanship as we've seen with some of the other ones. But I think because of its graphic strength, that that works somehow. And I think it's really interesting to juxtapose this with things like these bright plastic balls and kids uh, army toys and stuff like that. And I think that this is a really good shot because this design is it's simple. It is hallmark back to or uh, kind of harkens back to uh, Bauhaus and Soviet constructivism. And so setting it on just a concrete slab with this adobe finish wall behind it, I think works pretty well in that photo. I think there's some really interesting things going on. Okay, who wants to talk about the house and who wants to talk about the pictures?
I'll talk about the house.
Okay.
I think the house is interesting because it kind of reminds me of like built like children's building blocks. And like I like how it's all in like primary colors, red, yellow, blue. They all like are very striking. And honestly, I think kind of like the weirdness of some of like the roof like works for it, like the different shapes. And yeah, it reminds me of like cubism kind of, and I do like the juxtaposition of this one with like the round balls um and then like the sharp edges of the house.
Uh-huh.
So I thought their idea worked well.
Right. Excellent. Very good. Who wants to talk about the photos?
I can talk about the photos.
Okay, great.
I agree with what Rachel said. I feel like with the red, yellow, and blue, and it feels almost like a toy, like with just how
Right.
simple it is in the colors. And so I really like that in the pictures, it tends to be surrounded by toys. Like
Uh-huh.
it just kind of fits in with all the things.
Yeah.
I think they're really interesting views. I think that the lighting picture, how it's just the house like blends into the darkness, but the door really pops. And then
Hmm.
with the open window in the back, I think that's an interesting view. Um, let's see if we can kind of scroll through. Yeah, the balls. I love the balls. I thought that was a nice distance um shot as well with the contrast between like the very neutral house um in contrast with like this really bright little miniature thing on the doorstep.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I thought all the pictures were really interesting and the house was really interesting. Um, I liked this one as well, where you can see the windows better and the
Uh-huh.
shadow. I don't know, I just think it all worked really well.
All right. Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Okay, we got a bonus photo on this one. I like that. We're just perched in the tree. And then happy dog. This house is really kind of a fun one. It reminds me a little bit of that blue one we saw a couple people ago because it has like that same kind of um, in the middle of the country kind of feel to it, and the roof is really an interesting line to it. It reminds me of I lived in Alabama for a little while, and there were some houses that people built by themselves, and as long as there wasn't a fire nearby or any reason for an inspector to come by, nobody cared about permits. And for some reason, this that reminds me of this, where maybe the posts holding up the awning aren't all the same length, and it kind of seems to lean a little bit to one side. And I like the little fun details. This I think is a really good photo because you have the house with its quirkiness right on top of these very straight steel beams. But that's an interesting image. I'm glad that they put in 6 photos because I don't think this one fits. It's not the same caliber. It's not the same level as the other photos. This is kind of fun where they put it and then it looks like there's like a little radish or tomato on the porch. All right, who wants to talk about the house and who wants to talk about the photos?
I could talk about the house.
Okay.
Uh, I really enjoyed this house. I think they really played on the scale on this house because of the use of like leaves for like windows and doors. And I also really like, yeah, and I also really like how they use like kind of like these sticks um to kind of like
Ri-
show the structure of this house and like the
Right,
different shapes and stuff. Um, I thought it was, and I also really like the colors because it feels like it's something that you would find in nature and something that kind of like blends in with nature.
right. Like
It's
right here.
yes,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
really, yeah, I like it. It's really well done. I also really like kind of like on this roof right here, it kind of feels like an organic swoop going on.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I really like that little detail right there. So I feel like it's really
All
well
right,
done and
excellent. Very good. Nice. Okay, who wants to talk about the photos? Good
I
comments on the
can
house, by the way.
I
Okay,
can
what?
talk about the sorry?
What was that? You said you can
Oh,
talk about the
I could
photos?
talk about the photos again.
Okay, great.
Um, I thought these were really interesting. I really love the two on the bottom that are like scenes, you know, it's just very fitting. It fits in very well, and I love that the I don't know if it's a cherry tomato or what, how it ties in with the flowers as well.
Yeah,
Like it,
yeah,
pops. I really like the pink filter picture because in the background you can see like a little girl's foot and her other foot is coming to step on top of it. And I had initially missed that in the picture. Like I wish there
yeah.
were a
I didn't
little
even get that
more.
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I wish there were a little bit more of that incorporated into the picture, like, less of the foreground and more of the background type,
yeah.
so you could see that better. But I thought that was really fun. Um, can we scroll really quick so I can see that yeah, I really liked this one. With the directional lines and just like seeing the depth of the
Uh-huh.
whole scene. Um, and yeah, I think they did a good job and it was creative. It like a tree house right there, fun close up there with the dog. Um, I think they did a good job.
All right. Excellent. Very good. Thank you. Okay, this one doesn't seem to have a close up or far. I mean, they all seem to have the same view, so it doesn't seem to be an extreme close up or one that's very far away. So that photo seems to be missing. I like the black and white; it really shows off the texture. And this kind of reminds me of Minecraft too. It gives it that Minecraft face vibe. I like the detail of I like how these windows kind of pop, and the rest of this almost feels like the house is made out of that um I can't remember fondant or something like that that the cake makers do for the really fancy cakes. that makes me think of it. So I wonder if, and I like having the cat in there, and it's kind of fun seeing the cardboard roof. So the bright colors are engaging, but I really like this. I like how with the black and white lighting, or with the black and white color, it makes this very happy house look somber and reflective somehow. Like it's thinking about really deep thoughts. All right, let's have somebody talk about the house, and then somebody talk about the photos. We only have about like 12 minutes left, so
Okay, I
just
can talk about the
really
house.
quick comment. Yeah.
This one I've been watching as people post, and this one, I think when she originally posted it, like her photographs weren't showing up, so I'm glad that I'm getting to see it now because I didn't get to see it before. I like the contrasting colors. I really like the popping neon windows, and I agree that like the pink, it almost looks like I thought it looked kind of like that like felty velvet kind of.
Oh, okay.
And I really like the texture of the roof. Like all the people who did that, I thought that was such a good idea with like all the ridges and um I know I'm not talking about the photos, but that black and white one, I really like that one too. And I did this immediately again reminded me of Minecraft too, like this Minecraft face.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's fun. I think it's a fun one.
Yeah, like this is a really good photo for that. All right, who wants to talk about the photos? I'll talk about the photos really quick. These two feel like they're a little bit too similar. I think one of these would be just fine, and so this is a little bit more golden, and it's the reason I'm thinking that is just because they seem to be all from the same distance away, and we need one that shows where the person has stepped way back. I think I like this the drama of the black and white. And I like the corrugation in the background to kind of bounce off the roof with interesting lighting there. I think either one of these would be good to include, and then I would replace the other one with um, a pullback, so we see the house from far away. I think this is kind of a fun one on this weathered wood slab with the cat wondering what the heck's going on. All right. And then this is the last one we're going to look at. This is really an unusual house shape. It's interesting to me. It looks almost like something out of Teletubbies. I think this is fascinating with, looking at it through water. I think that's a really interesting image. I think from my perspective on the design itself, these colors are a little bit too much the same. And I think this would be so much, I, I mean, really engaging with something just as simple as putting a little bit of texture on here. And that could be done with like just a sponge dipped in a slightly different shade of paint or something to do the background or the windows or something. But the colors, I think, are it's an interesting enough idea. I would like to just see a little bit more texture, visual texture applied to it. And what's kind of fun to me about this one is you don't know what you're looking at, and you really have to study it hard to figure it out. Right, does anybody want to make a short comment about the house itself?
Yeah, I can
I think
comment on it.
sure.
Yeah, it feels like an almost like cartoon house, like something you wouldn't really see in reality, but like something kind of like abstract and something really different. Um, I really like the colors they chose. It's the pastels. Uh, they really complement the the surrounding nature around it. Um, but yeah, I thought. But I also agree that I wish there was like a different like I really like how they added like these kind of like flowery texture pattern on the front right here. I wish I
Uh-huh.
could see like something like more of that in
Right.
somewhere else. But yeah, overall, I think this 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 was executed pretty well and well done.
I really like the fact that it's such a unique shape for a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Excellent. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Now, we took a little bit longer than I had planned on doing that, so we don't have an awful lot of time. Uh, you guys will notice that the next project is supposed to be due next weekend. I'm going to be changing that. I'm going to be adding a week to it. And on Wednesday, next Wednesday, we're going to talk quite a bit about this wire thing. So I noticed a couple people have already started turning in their wire projects. Um, I'm not going to grade the wire projects until after we talk about it on Wednesday. Like I said, I'm going to be adding a week to the due date. So hopefully that will help with everybody. Have all of you guys been able to get your kits? It looks like almost everybody has.
Yeah, I got mine.
So I have a question about it, just because I know you had said that there were supposed to be like manila folders in there, and we had mix up with the kits before. My kit doesn't have any folders in it. And so I was worried that I had gotten the wrong kit. But I think, I mean, it looks like from the sign up sheet, everybody's picking up from the same spot, but I just wanted to check in and just make sure that, it's okay.
Well, I actually did talk to her. She said they were essentially the same. And my concern was that the people who the kits were made for weren't getting their kits. Which and if they're the same, that shouldn't have mattered at all.
Okay.
But the manila folders were specifically for this project. So if your kit
Mhm.
doesn't have them and you've already made your house, then I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Okay, great. Good to know. Thank you.
If you would like to lay this stuff out on a tabletop and send me a photo of what's in there, I can tell you if anything else is missing that's important. But I'm pretty sure that everything else is going to be in there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know there's like a block of foam and some newspaper, X-Acto knife, like, hot glue gun, etc., things like that.
Right.
So,
And there should be some files. There should also be a packet of stuff for making paper mache, like a sack of flour and a sack of wood glue, and a couple things like that. And yeah, if you're concerned, if your kit did not get manila folders, go ahead and lay the stuff out on a tabletop and send me a photo, and I will tell you if there's anything else that's needed. But again, I'm really sorry for the mix up. But Sharon said she got everything squared away. Everything that's necessary is in the kit now. So
okay.
I hope that is good.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much, folks. So again, I'm going to be tacking on a week to the due date for the next project, so we can talk about it in detail on Wednesday. And I'm thinking I'm also going to be talking about the next step in the research thing. There are a couple of people have chosen to do service learning, and what you guys have turned in for the service learning has been exceptional. There are about 3 or 4 people that have not declared which route they're going to go, and for those people, they're going to see several extra assignments. So if you have, I would recommend as quickly as possible, go to module 7.A, and if you'll scroll down, actually, I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Okay, if we go to 7A, can everybody see this?
Yes.
All right. If we scroll down on 7A, right after first do no harm and second disaster, there is this link. It says artist research or service learning. You click on that. And all you got to do is tell me which of those you want to do. You want to do the service learning or the artist research. And the people that have not filled this out yet have gotten a 0. And all that means is you got to go back and fill this out. Tell me which one you want to do, service learning or artist research. And as soon as I see that you've declared one, I will go back and remove the assignments that you are no longer responsible for. And that's all you've got to do. Is that, I mean, I think everybody here tonight has already filled out this assignment. Is that true?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Me as
Okay.
well.
All right. Yeah, we did have a couple late ads, and we had a couple people that weren't able to join us the first week. And I'm thinking those are the only ones that haven't done this. So go ahead and fill it out as soon as you possibly can and get that taken care of. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Again, next week we're going to go over the Wire project, and I'm going to extend the due date on the Wire project by a week. Make sure that that's taken care of for everybody. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week and weekend, and I hope, Tanis, that you don't chip your tooth again.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a funny once kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it's funny at all. Well, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining me tonight, and I will look forward to visiting with you next week. All right?
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you. See ya.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.